Joining us, I've been waiting for this all morning, Bae Buchanan. She is a conservative commentator, campaign treasurer for Ronald Reagan, and is an author working hard on a new book. We were lucky to get her. Also, Jim McGrath joining us, political insider. I want to welcome you both to Houston's Morning News. Thanks for taking the time today.
You are certainly welcome. Good to be with you.
Now, Bae, let me start with you. I know you're busy, and thanks for taking the time.
Sure.
Last night, I'm watching the debate. I'm getting depressed. I don't like the questions that are coming from Chris Wallace and Brett Baier, and I don't like the sniping back and forth between Pawlenty and Bachmann. In your opinion, last night, was it a debacle, or is this the way debates are supposed to look?
Well, it's what they have to do. I think Pawlenty hurt himself last night. I think you're correct. But what do you tell him to do? I mean, he's low in the polls. He's got to figure out a way to get ahead of Bachmann in order to become viable. He's got a national opportunity here. So, he's in a lose-lose situation. He's doing the best he can, and unfortunately, it got to be sounded very petty. Even my children, who are not real involved, they're in their 20s, not real involved, looked at it and said, "This is so petty. They're just going back and forth." And I thought, well, that's what America's looking at, and that's not good for either of them.
Jim, what about that? I mean, America doesn't want to see this. My God, we just saw this between the Democrats and the Republicans a couple of weekends ago with the whole debt debate. I mean, we didn't want to see a debate like this, did we?
I agree with Bae that Tim Pawlenty and Rick Santorum and a lot of these kind of second and third tier candidates essentially have to light themselves on fire on stage to get attention from some of the media members, even during the course of the debate. I thought it was akin to the battle from Middle Earth, with apologies to all our Lord of the Rings fans out there. It was Mitt Romney went in as the front runner. I think nothing happened to change that dynamic. You had a lot of these Michelle Bachmann, Tim Pawlenty, Rick Santorum, Ron Paul kind of tete-a-tetes. But at the end of the day, I don't think they were getting through to voters. They were really positioning themselves for the straw poll coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, and I would agree with that, and we're going to see what happens there. All right, Jim McGrath, Bae Buchanan, joining us here this morning. If you guys would hang on 1 second, I got to ask
Sure.
I got to ask you about the big shadow that was cast over the entire debate last night, and that shadow, of course, came from Texas in the form of Rick Perry. There was also another shadow, and we'll talk about her as well. KTRH News Time is 8:52, and joining us, Bae Buchanan, conservative commentator and author. Bae, real quick, how's the book coming?
Oh, thanks for asking. The book is coming. I'm just coming around the last lap. I got an introduction to write and a summary chapter, and that's it. I'm very, very excited.
Good for you. So are we. I hope to get a copy. Political insider Jim McGrath also joining us. All right, Jim, Bae, the shadow cast by Rick Perry last night was very obvious. A question came up. What did all of the potential nominees think about Perry, getting into the race? Ron Paul was very demonstrative. Apparently, he's not a big fan of Rick Perry's. Everyone else is kind of, whatever. The shadow cast by Perry and by Palin. Give me your thoughts. We know Perry's coming in. Will Palin come in? Jim, we'll start with you this time. You think Palin gets into this race?
I don't think she does, Matt. I have seen nothing in the run-up here that indicates she's serious about running for president. She's serious about getting media attention, which she could do at the drop of a hat. But there's been nothing that's been strategic about the way she's herself in these media availability. So I don't think she's in. I think Rick gets in. He gets a big bump in the polls, and then the vetting process starts, and we'll see where he goes from there. Very
good. Bae, your thoughts?
I agree with him entirely. I agree with Jim. I don't think Sarah gets in, but I find something very interesting. They seem to be. First was Sarah. Why is she trying to step on the big straw poll attention? These people who are working in the straw poll trying to win that thing. I've been there several times, too many times to even want to talk about it. It's extraordinarily difficult. You spend a lot of money, a lot of effort, just enormous pressure, and then you have a big day if you win it or come in second or you come in better better than expected. And here's Rick Perry and Sarah Palin stepping all over these candidates. I just think it's an awful thing. Look, if you want to run for president, run for president. Stop playing games trying to draw all this attention to yourself. If you're not getting in the game, Sarah, either get in or make a statement you're not in and help somebody that you think should win this thing. And the same with Rick Perry. All this talk, and then he's going to make his announcement right on top of the day that one of these candidates would be able to have a little national attention. I think it's awful, it's classless, it's tacky. Let's see him get in here and get in the limelight and try to work as hard as these guys and see how he does that.
You know, and what I like about you, Bay, is that you really kind of hold it all in. You don't really tell us what you think. Hey, I want to thank you both for coming on, and I look forward to talking with you both in the weeks and months to come as we get closer to 2012. Jim McGrath, Bay Buchanan, thank you both. Have a good weekend.